Hi everybody, this is Carla at Carla Being Crafty. Welcome to my channel. Today is Saturday, July 20th. It's going to be a nice, bright, sunny, hot day here in Southern California. And you have reached my channel, Carla Being Crafty, which is where I talk mostly about cross stitch, but some other crafty stuff and a little life stuff thrown in. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you are someone who has been here sharing the time with me before, then I'm so glad you came back. I appreciate all of you so much. This is my FlossTube number 4. So I've been doing this about 3 weeks. I'm loving it, and I'm having so much fun and meeting so many people through the channel, through their kind comments and everything, that I'm just having a great time. So let's get started. Let's turn the air conditioning off. Okay. So I hope everybody had a great week. I just thought I'd tell you a little bit about last night. I went out with a friend of mine, Lori. One thing I haven't told you guys before, something about me before I started cross stitching, that I have spent the last 35 years, I guess, acting and directing in Orange County Community Theater. And it's something I've kind of slowed down on recently, just because it's really an involved time commitment, energy commitment, emotional commitment, and so it's something that I kind of had to tone back on in recent years, just due to my life circumstances and, you know, the fact that I'm getting older and all kinds of stuff. But I have been doing theater forever, and it is one of my loves. So last night I went out to see a play with my friend Lori. She had won a couple tickets and kindly took me as her date. So we saw The Bad Seed at Westminster Community Theater, and it was a fun night. I highly encourage anyone to find a local community theater. Depending where you are, there may be one or there may be 30. But find them and go see local theater. It's a wonderful experience. I mean, even if the show you see is not to your taste, then you know that for next time to go see something else. But there is nothing like going to see live theater, and it really surprises me when I talk to people or I see people at a show and they're like, this is the first play I ever went to, and they're like 30 or 40 or 50 years old. There's no excuse for that. You should go see live theater. The people who do it are wonderful people who are just using that medium to get their creation out, just like we do it with cross stitch and needlework. And the world needs art and creativity, so support it. Community theater is not very expensive. A lot of theaters are using apps and such to which cut down your costs even more. You can sometimes get Groupon tickets, or there's a site called Gold Star that you can go on, and all the tickets on Gold Star are half price. The theater has to offer them half price if you get them through Gold Star. So I do encourage everyone to support your local community theaters and you know, have a good evening doing that. So that's my little PSA for today. Before I get started on showing you the whips and all the good stuff that I know everybody's here to see, I did want to give a couple shout outs. That's part of what this whole thing is about. First of all, I want to say thank you to Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching, because they shouted me out last week. It was like amazing. I was watching their channel late on Sunday night, and at the end they started doing shout outs, and they shouted me out. They said that they said I had a funky style. So I guess purple hair isn't super common in Ohio. It's not that uncommon out here in California. And Stephanie said I was a cool chick. So, well, I figure it takes one to know one, so thank you very much, Stephanie. So some of the people that I have been watching, either just started watching or have been watching from the beginning, I thought I'd kind of share some of those people with you. And some of them you may be very familiar with because they're really popular FlossTubers, but some of them are fairly new. So I would encourage you to go stop by their channel and say hi. I've been watching, I think her name is Joanne, but her channel is Desert Stitcher, and she's out here in California. She's a fairly new cross stitcher, I believe, with a fairly new channel. I don't think she's been doing it even a year, but she's great. She just went through, you know, her first earthquake that we had on 4th of July, which I didn't even mention. So that is the difference between someone who's lived in California their whole life and someone who is new to California, that we had 2 earthquakes on the 4th and 5th of July, and I forgot to even talk about them because they were kind of, you know, no big deal. I mean, it's always a big deal when you're sitting through it and you're just like looking around hoping that nothing falls off the shelves and breaks. But after you've been through, you know, 5, 6, 10 of them, it's just kind of like a 9 days wonder, you know. It just doesn't last that long. But she's great to watch, and she's very talented, and she made a fabric covered box with one of her pieces that was really well done, and very impressive. And I was like, oh, I hope I can do finishes like that. The second person I've been watching fairly recently, her name is Erin, Martini Stitcher. And I swear to God, I feel like this girl and I were separated at birth or something, although I think I'm probably 10 to 15 years older than her. She's wonderful. She's actually on the coast here, or on the west side of the country, in Seattle. So, although we're not close, she has daughters that do a lot of dance competitions and stuff, so I'm thinking maybe someday if they come down to Southern California, then we can actually get together and meet and have a little stitchy day or something and have a couple martinis, and that would be great. So definitely go and watch Erin's channel. She's really fun. Of course, I watch Jan Hicks. I mean, everybody's watching Jan Hicks. She just hit 5,000 subscribers, and she's having wonderful, like, celebration giveaway. So if you are not familiar with her, then definitely go on and watch her video where she talks about that and put your name in, because she's like giving away, like, I don't know, it started out as 5 and then it went up to 10, and now I think she might be at 15 different prizes, and they're all really, really nice things, you know, silks and kits, and you know, I just wish her all the best with her channel, and she's so warm and so such a caring person. Her like tagline is give love, get love, and she promotes that every single episode. So she's really a great person to watch. I have been watching Kyle from Stitching and Sound, one of the few male cross stitchers out there who's getting pretty popular, and he's a kick to watch. So if you haven't ever seen his channel, that's something to check out. Stitching in the Barn, Valerie, she's also really a great person to watch. She does a lot of more primitive, I guess, type stuff. That's more her bent. But she also is a very intelligent lady and very interested in like the history of a lot of cross stitch and stuff. And so she's had a couple episodes, I guess, where she interviewed her neighbor who does reproduction samplers a lot, and that was really interesting. And then she interviewed that lady's husband who builds furniture, and so she does a lot of almost educational stuff, which I think is really cool. The current situation, those ladies are a kick. Memory, and I'm losing her partner's name. I'm so sorry. I didn't write it down. But anyway, they're great. They're fun to watch. I suggest that they get a bigger bench, because, you know, one of them's going to wind up on the floor one of these days, but they're a really fun couple to watch, and they obviously love doing the cross stitch, and they have an Etsy shop as well up there. Most of their stuff is very beach themed, and beach or nautical, ocean water is involved in most of the stuff that they do, and they're great. Let's see. Oh, and then one more. This is really new, so I think she's only done 2 FlossTube videos. Her name's Jennifer Bluegrass Stitcher. So as I said, she's only done 2, and she seems a little shy on her videos. So I encourage everybody to go and watch her and give her all of the encouragement that you've given me. There's so much love out in this community, and you know, spread it around. It's great. We got to encourage everybody to get on FlossTube because it's fun, and it's a great way for all of us to connect. So those are my shout outs for today. Again, if you're watching me and you have a channel, let me know and I'll go check you out. And you know, I enjoy watching all new people and learning things from everybody. So anyway, so I encourage you to go check out those people that I talked about. And yeah, so let's just get on with the projects. So the first thing I'm going to show you is an older project. And again, I say older, I've only been doing this since March, so you know, it's not that old. But I don't know if any of you guys remember or aware, but back in April there was a whole big thing. Target was carrying these $7 tote bags in their $7 tote bags in their like dollar section. And it was like a whole big thing about people who could get them, who couldn't get them, if their Target had them. Well, my Target had them, and I went and got 3. I got the beige one, the blue one, and the black one. And I haven't done anything with the black or the blue ones yet. But I decided to do something for my friend at work, and I used the beige one to make her a tote bag. So this is what I did. And I think it turned out really great. I mean, I love it. She loves it. She's a very, she loves like yellow and orange. Those are her happy colors. And so what I did is I got I think it was a $3 kit. It was on sale, 1, 2, 3 stitch. And it wasn't Riolis. It was like the other company that I think is Riolis, but it's smaller kits, like RIO or RLO or something like that. And so I got this little kit. Obviously I didn't use any of the materials in it. I just got it for the pattern, and then I used the pattern to then transfer onto here. I will say that the way that I did this and the way it looks, it is a floss eater. This is actually 12 strands, because I took a full strand of DMC and doubled it to do the loop stitch, which you pretty much have to do a loop stitch on these. So I doubled it, so it's 12 strands, but it made it nice and thick and really vibrant. But it was funny because I couldn't totally follow the pattern because I kept running out of my colors of floss. So I'd run out of a yellow and I'd add a different yellow, or I ran out of orange and I'd add a different orange. So the pattern, which originally had, you know, maybe 2 yellows and an orange, ended up with like 5 yellows and 3 oranges, and the same with the greens. But it took me, like, I started on a Friday night, I finished it Saturday evening. So it was a quick little project, and I think it turned out great. And now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with the black one and the blue one for myself. I think I have a rose that I got, the same kind of thing, one of those little kits, that I think is going to go on the black one because it's like a bright pink and green, and I think that will look great. And then I have a pattern that has some black cat silhouettes, and that might go on the blue one, but we'll see. If I do them, I will show them to you. So that is my my old cross stitch thing. I also wanted to show you something, because my channel is titled Carla Being Crafty. I did want to give myself the freedom to show you guys other things besides just needlework. And this is something that I did a couple years ago now. I kind of got into beading these flowers, and then it was kind of at the time that my marriage was falling apart, and I set it aside. But I have all the supplies, and I probably will go back to doing this a little bit. Actually, I've been looking at it lately because I'm interested in doing these flowers as part of finishes with cross stitch, because I think that it would be really pretty to put this kind of thing, you know, on the frames. You know, maybe not maybe not using fabric flowers, but maybe using beaded flowers. So I made a daisy, brown-eyed Susan, and then this is a stalk of lavender. It's very fun to do. It's super easy. It's a little time consuming because you do have to string all of these beads on wire. But I do have a little tool that helps with something like this. But I think that if anybody's interested, like realistically, even if you're not interested, I'm going to do it. But eventually I'll show you guys, I'll do a little demo on how to do these. And so that's something that I'll probably get back into doing a little bit when I need a break from the cross stitch, which I'm not there yet. I'm loving the cross stitch too much. But I did want to show you guys these because I just think I just love them. I love looking at them. I like touching them. I love this lavender. So, okay. So there's that. Okay, so let's get to my my whips, my works in progress. I did get started on my friend Tracey's the second half of her housewarming gift. If you remember, I'm working on this little kit. And I didn't get a ton done. I just started on the glass. So I actually did this, I was on the phone with her. I talk about my best friend Tracey, and really I feel like she's my sister Tracey. I have one brother, but I don't have any biological sisters, but she is my sister by choice. And we text not every day, but close, and we talk not every week, but close. But when we were talking this week, I figured as long as I had her on the phone, I might as well start her project. So that is where that one is. I haven't shown you this one since my first video. This is the Riolis Sweet William kit. And again, this the Riolis kits use a wool floss, not like a DMC cotton floss. So that's where this one is. And all this stuff over here is new. And oh god, I had the worst time with the counting on this. I messed up like the same stitch twice and had to pull out a bunch of stuff because I was off. And sometimes it doesn't really matter on flowers, but these are kind of symmetrical, and this one's kind of over by itself, so it would show if it was off. Because it was the center, it was like the little middle bit. But yeah, I had a counting problem. Honestly, that's one of the reasons I love doing like the Hades and the full coverage. I don't have any problems with making mistakes. If you make a mistake, or at least with me, if I make a mistake, it's like that I parked something wrong and I realize it before I make the stitch. And I can usually figure out what I did wrong. And even if I can't, then I can just end the thread and use the right one. So there's no pulling out of stitches when I'm doing my full coverage. But actually having to count in this hobby of counted cross stitch sometimes is my downfall. Okay, blend in place. This is my Halloween banner project that, if you remember, was on timeout last week because it had the audacity to make me count wrong. But it came out of the doghouse, and I was able to put, oops, let me get my needle minder out of the way. I was able to put these two spiders back in the correct spots, and I was able to restart the werewolf. And this time, because I was counting off the words here, I started kind of at his knee instead of at the top of his head. Because I figured that from my experience working with the Whisper, the little bit that I did before I had to like pull it all out, I kind of want to leave that more towards the end so that I can do it, and then I don't know, I just think it'll stay fluffier if I don't do it at the beginning and then stitch around it. I think it'd be better if I put those stitches in at the end. So I'm going to do him kind of from the bottom up instead of the top down. Okay, and then my last whip for this past week is the In This House We Do Geek project that I started for my brother and his kids, and I am loving working on this project, you guys. This is done on 14 count confetti fabric by Fabric Flair, and I don't know if the colors are showing up as much as I wish they would. This is, again, the first time I'm working really with over-dyed flosses. I'm using the Needle Necessities and kind of doing it in a rainbow colorway, and I'm loving it. I mean, I'm loving just the subtle variation in these flosses, and it's going pretty quick, I think, because it's just the words. I love how it's a different font for each line, and when I was driving to work the other day, I got like a really great idea on how to finish this, because I'm going to finish it more like a banner or a flag kind of wall hanging thing. I'm not going to frame it or make a pillow out of it. I just think it lends itself to that kind of a finishing technique, and I just have a really good idea in my head. So I'm looking forward to that. And if that technique looks good, I probably am going to use that for the Glendon Place as well, which of course is going to be finished way after this one. Just as a little side note, this fabric was fraying quite a bit, and so I used what is this? Aleene's Stop Fraying. I got this on Amazon, and it just, I don't know if it's different than just white glue. It seems just like white glue to me, but I'm assuming that it's different. But it definitely has stopped the fraying. So if that is an issue for you guys, then that stuff works. Okay, so that was all my works in progress for this week. Although, I don't know if you guys remember from my last video when I was talking about this project, when I said that, you know, the last line is In This House We Do Geek, and I said that I thought it maybe should be We Do Nerd, and then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, well, what's actually the difference? I mean, you hear those two terms bandied about all the time, and I want to make it clear, in my head, neither one of those words is a derogatory thing. I like being a nerd, I like being a geek. You know, I have several friends who are in San Diego Comic-Con this weekend, and I think that's totally cool. I've never done cosplay myself, although, you know, I do theater, so there's that. I do like dressing up. I just don't do it at like a convention setting or a Comic-Con type setting. But I was wondering, well, you know, what is the difference? So, of course, like everybody in this day and age, you get a question like that, you Google it, and I thought maybe, you know, I'd find one or two articles. There's a ton of articles about what the difference is between a nerd and a geek. I mean, Venn diagrams, you know, little charts. I still am not sure which, you know, like people like my brother or myself fit into. But what I thought was kind of funny is a lot of these descriptions, they sound a bit familiar, like somebody with a specific niche interest or lifestyle that they have become the expert on. Does that sound familiar? Knowledge can range from mundane to living encyclopedia status. Does that sound familiar? Any of these, any of you FlossTube watchers or FlossTube creators, people who like to talk about cross stitch and watch cross stitch and do cross stitch and, you know, and discuss the merits of DMC versus over dyed, etc., etc. I think that we are all cross stitch geeks or cross stitch nerds, depending on which one you think that you fall into. Nerds are supposed to be more socially inept but more intelligent, if that matters. Anyway, I think that we're all cross stitch geeks and nerds, and we've got to fly that freak flag high, because it is something to be proud of that we are proponents of this wonderful art form. That's my, I guess, my second PSA. Okay, stash. I thought I would show you just a couple of kits that I have, that I've ordered in the last several months that, I am enjoying and having plans on doing. I did get this Mill Hill kit, Wanda's Wands. I love this one. I love the colors. I mean, these pinky purpley backgrounds are just great. I like all of the Halloween stuff. I don't do a lot of decorating for Halloween unless I'm having a Halloween party, which I have done in the past. I've thrown a couple like really big fun Halloween parties. Maybe that will be my future, and I will, have to do a bunch of Halloween ornaments and stuff to decorate my apartment. As I continue with cross stitch and I do more Halloween things, then maybe I'll get one of those Halloween trees with the branch thing, and I think those are kind of cool. But I did love this kit. I like the Mill Hill kits. I'm really drawn to them. So I'm sure there's gonna be several more in my future. I also really like the idea of doing one of those kind of perpetual calendar kind of things where you do the chart for each month and trade it out every month on whatever you're displaying it on using magnets or whatever. I really like that idea. The thing is that if I do that, I have to probably use something like Mill Hill to make them so that I can pick my own thing for each month, because of my personal religious beliefs and everything like that. A lot of the December ones are Christmas. I don't want that. A lot of the spring ones are very Eastery. I don't want that. So there's things that I need to change out so that they have more meaning for me. And I think Mill Hill might be the way to go, because they do have a lot of like really great ones that do fit the season, but then they have alternative things so that I don't have to get a Christmas one for December. They have a really nice one that says, it has a dove and it says peace, and it says peace in all the different languages, including shalom and everything like that, and it's the dove with the branch. And to me, that would be a great one for December, because it incorporates everything, everybody's holiday, and it's a season of, giving and thinking about people and stuff like that. So I do like that. But again, okay, there's 12 months, and if it takes you 2 months to do one of these, that's 2 years before you're gonna get your calendar done. So, and it's, plus then it's 12 kits that you're buying that are, $13, $14, $15 each. It gets a little expensive. So yeah, that's a project that's gonna go over a long period of time. But I guess if you do it in order, then you can kind of go as you go and get that first one done, and then, maybe skip a month and do the next month. But anyway, I do like the Mill Hill kits. I don't know when I'm gonna get to this one, because I'm not gonna start this until I definitely finish Tracys Mill Hill kit, and I do have my little travel project is a Mill Hill kit that I keep in my purse. I haven't been able to work on that one very much at all lately. When I'm done with the wine ones, I might pull that out of my purse and put something else in my purse. Anyway, it's a big rotation thing. But I do have this sitting in my drawer waiting for me to start it. And then along those same lines, as I said, I like the Beaded Flower kits, and I showed you the Sweet William that is in progress, which is only like maybe a quarter done, if that. But this will be the next one. Oops. I really love hydrangeas. If I had any place to plant anything, I would plant some hydrangeas, but I don't have any kind of patio, backyard, balcony, nothing. So I have a couple African violets in pots, and I'm really bad about taking care of those even. But I do love hydrangeas, so this will be the next realist kit that I do after I finish Sweet William. Okay. So my last stuff to show you guys is my haul. I am trying really, really hard, you guys, to not buy a bunch of stuff. I am very tight financially. My rent just went up almost $100 for a 422 square foot apartment. Guys, California is no joke, okay? It's very expensive to live here, and when you're single and doing everything on your own, it can be hard. And it's even harder when you're like me and have very little self-control when it comes to getting the stuff for the hobbying crafts that you love. But I'm trying really hard to be wiser. I'm really good about not spending too much on a single thing. My problem is that, you know, even if you only spend $5 or $10 on a single thing, if you get, you know, 10 of them, then that adds up. So I'm trying to be better. So if my haul isn't huge, then that's why. If my haul isn't huge, then, you know, good thumbs up to me, because it means that I was wise. If I have a huge haul, then I was not great that week or couple of weeks. My friend did send me a gift card for 123 Stitch, or she, you know, it's at 123 Stitch, I guess. And I haven't used it yet. So I have it there and I'm thinking about what I want, but I'm kind of like leaving it there until I have, you know, I really can't afford anything and I really want something, so that, you know, it's kind of like a buffer for me. It's something to look forward to. But I did get a couple things these past couple weeks that came in this week, so I thought I would show those to you. I found a new needle minder company, not new, but new to me. And as I said before when I was talking about Kim's needle minders, I don't like spending too much for needle minders. I mean, I love them, but I can't spend more than $5, and even that is a lot for a needle minder, in my opinion. I mean, there are some that are gorgeous, and they are worth, because, you know, they're handmade with the resin, and they are worth every penny of the $10, $15, $20 that they cost. But they're not worth it to me to purchase. If you have them, I envy you. But I'm gonna have to stick to ones that are maybe a little less expensive. So I found this company, Mad for Minders, on Etsy. They had very reasonable prices, and I indulged and actually got myself 3. They're all Disney princesses, but they're these watercolors, and they're so pretty. And again, they're like super flat, so they are also practical needle minders, because they do work very well as a needle minder to hold my needles. Which, a lot of the really fancy ones, they just don't really work as needle minders for me, so I prefer these flat ones, and these were just so pretty. So, I did get those. I got 2 tiny kits, not kits, 2 tiny patterns. I got these from Jen's Stitching Niche on Etsy. Although that's not the only place you can get them. I got a Lizzie Kate Flip It, Meow Flip It, I guess is what it's called. And then very similar, the trilogy, this is called Cat Treats. And part of the reason I got these is that most of my projects are big, and I realized that, you know, it would be nice to have a couple things that if I really feel the need for a start, I could, you know, start it and get it done fairly quickly. I also wanted something that I could use for the little pieces of fabric that I'm gonna have left over when I finish some of these big projects. I'm gonna have, you know, ornament size fabric or whatever, and I need something to be able to use that for, because I definitely don't want to throw it away. I mean, fabric's expensive, as we all know. So speaking of fabric, I got this piece of Ada on eBay. I think it was like $6. It's a really pretty mint green. I don't think it's showing up, but it's a pretty color. Obviously, the person who sent this, there's stickers on here, came from Michael's originally, and I think it was on sale for less than they sold it for on eBay, and so they were smart thinkers. The question I have, this is 18 count Damask Ada, or Damask. I know damask is similar to brocade in that it's a decoration type technique. I mean, that's what I thought. And then I looked it up, and, you know, it said something about like a pattern or a decoration that you can see on both sides. What makes this what makes this damask Aida? Does anybody know why it's called that instead of just regular Aida? Is it just they're trying to be fancy, or does it actually mean something? It doesn't look any different to me than any other Aida that I've seen. So if you know, then please let me know, because I'm curious about that. And this is not 100% cotton either. This is a cotton rayon blend. I don't know if that's going to make a difference as far as how it stitches or how it looks, but that's interesting. Okay, and then the last piece of haul I got, I kind of referenced this last week when I was talking about something that I wanted to get because it reminds me of my dad. So I got this pattern. I only printed it out in black and white, sorry. This is classic Winnie the Pooh with the balloon and the bees. And so the reason why I wanted to get this so much, I have this really great memory of my dad. And I have said before, my dad passed away when I was 10, almost 11. But I have some memories that are just really special to me. And I have this one memory of sitting, you know, in the big chair in the living room with him, sitting on his lap, and he was reading me from the classic Winnie the Pooh. And it was the story where Winnie the Pooh, you know, uses the balloon to try and get past the bees into the honey, and he's a little rain cloud, and then he falls. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the story. Anyway, he falls into a prickle bush, and the line in the book is that he got up and he brushed the prickles off his nose. So my dad was reading me this story, and I don't know how old I was. Honestly, I don't know. I probably was like 6 or 7, but anyway, he misread it, and he said something about Winnie the Pooh standing up and brushed the pickles off his nose. Instead of saying prickles, he said pickles. And being the little kid that I was, that was the most hysterically funny thing that I had ever heard in my life. And I just remember he and I just giggling about that for like so long. And then, you know, and then we would crack each other up by saying pickles, you know, for the next couple of days. And I've had that memory for so long. And when I started doing cross stitch, and I was kind of looking around on Etsy, and I thought, hey, I wonder if, and then I found this one, which is the illustration that was in that story at that point in the book, and I just knew that I had to get it. It's a really simple pattern. It's only like 4 colors, or even 3 colors maybe, because of the balloon and then Winnie the Pooh. The balloon is like, I think it's blue, supposed to be blue, but it can be whatever color. Winnie the Pooh is like a yellowy brown color, and then all the black. So it shouldn't be too hard to do. It's actually bigger than I thought. It turns out to be kind of a bigger piece, but this will eventually be done, and I will think of my dad with every stitch, and you know, that's what we do, right? So anyway, I really love this one. And I think it was like $8 or $8.50 for the pattern, which I think is actually kind of a lot for a PDF pattern. But I wanted it specifically this, so I went ahead and got it. So that is all of my fun stuff for this week. Again, I want to say thank you so much to everybody. I love your comments, and please, if you are one of those people, like I have been this entire time until like the last month, I never commented on anything, even though I would comment out loud to the TV. But you know what? I love getting comments, and I'm sure that every other FlossTuber out there loves getting comments. So please go ahead and comment, and you know, send me a message, and I will message you back so that we can get to know each other. And you know, thank you very much for watching my videos. Thank you for subscribing. I am up to just over 200 subscribers, and that's really exciting. So I'm hoping to get it up more. You know, tell your friends. But yeah, so I'm having a really good time doing this, and I thank you all so much for all of the support and stitchy love that you are putting out there into the universe. So if you are enjoying this video, please like it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And have a great week next week. In the meantime, please remember to be content, be kind, and be crafty. Bye-bye.